Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the Broke to Brokers YouTube channel. Today, my name's Cameron. Today, we're going to be talking about an all-new stock that I think is actually starting to make huge developments. We're going to go over all those developments, but it's just a very, underappreciated stock, I feel, at the moment, especially in a time and place where robotic stocks are starting to now start to do pretty damn well. I know that AI kind of led the tech sector for quite a while, but now I'm starting to see robotics like MBot, Serve, and now KITT actually start to break through and do some incredible things. We're going to go over the news with the stock. We're going to go over first off, what the company is, Nauticus Robotics, what they're doing, and what they're innovating right now. We're going to go over their need in the marketplace and why this is such an important company and could become vital for, potentially billions of dollars in revenue. So let's just start with their website. I always like to start off with the website, just to kind of look over, what they are, what they're putting out there for potential customers and investors to want to know about Nauticus Robotics. First off, they emphasize being green, which is true. They're more for in the span of energy. They're more towards wind and ocean generated energy. In fact, they have Hydronaut, which is um, another big product that they're making, but their biggest one is Aquanaut. And you see it's like this big submersible. Now, don't worry, this isn't like some Ocean Gate thing. You're not going to invest in this and then okay, yeah, it's not Ocean Gate. We're okay. I get PTSD now when I even look at submarines. But yeah, that's their Aquanaut. Now they did come out recently. They announced the beginning of Mark II of Aquanaut, so they're already on to the second iteration of this vehicle. So yeah, that's basically the main thing. They want to reduce carbon footprint. Emphasis on green energy there, um, environmental safety, mitigate risk. So because this is a robotics company, it's completely remote, remotely used. This is great because eliminates the need for divers, especially in very dangerous hazard conditions like we see in a lot of oil rigs. So the idea that they have with this, and they actually just gotten a new agreement from a big oil company. We're going to go over that news break because that was slept on, dude. That just launched, like they just announced that. Literally, the stock didn't even move for some reason, yet it's a huge customer. And it's exactly what this Aquanaut is designed for. It's for, big oil rigs. And the thing about these big oil rigs, you know, these things are 2 miles down in the water. Like these things have to go all the way to the ocean floor, and in some areas that's over 8,000 feet deep. And because it's so deep, you cannot expect divers to be able to get down to that. I've been doing a little bit of research on oil rigs because I just find them fascinating. I think they're one of like the human marvels that we've created in this day and age. They're insane if you think about them and how they work. These things are going 2 miles deep. Let me move this over here. These things go 2 miles deep to the ocean floor, or then they go another mile deep to start pulling, the well is pulling up oil. And it's very hard for maintenance to be done, especially if something happens down there. God forbid, an oil spill like we've seen in the Gulf of Mexico. Happens, you need to be able to act quickly. You need to have something that is designed to be able to withstand the pressure and to carry out these complicated tasks. So what this company, Nauticus Robotics, is designing is this Aquanaut that does all of it remotely, handles all types of tasks underwater, and it uses AI and sensors to carry out that task in a very complicated fashion. I wanted to show you guys a quick video because I find it really cool. This kind of just demonstrates the potential that this has. There's our underwater Twinkie with its extending arms. It's pretty cool how they can wrap around, kind of bend around. It's got these little claws.
Divers are only able to go a few dozen meters underwater and only for a limited periods of time. But now researchers can explore or carry out tasks at depths of hundreds or even thousands of meters thanks to the latest underwater robots.
In the subsea oil and gas market, there are fields that are deployed in the Gulf and elsewhere around the world that need maintenance, and typically that's done in deep water with ROVs. It's just an old way of doing things, and we think that we can basically bring the latest technology to that problem to reduce costs and also reduce risk. I'm Sandeep Yayathi. I'm the chief engineer on the Aquanaut project. We built a transformer. So this transforming vehicle allows us to have a hydrodynamic shape that we can actually transit to a work site and then get there and deploy manipulator arms to then go do a task that a traditional ROV would do.
Pretty insane. Now we can watch this another time. I'll have it linked in the description if you want to watch the full video. I just wanted to show you what the vehicle looks like. It's a pretty insane vehicle if you look at, you know, how it's designed there. So let's go over some of the news a little bit. So first off, let's hit the negative news and why people sold out of this stock originally. About, like, I wouldn't say originally, but you know, over the course of about like a year, we've seen the price of this thing drop 86%, even from today. You know, not much better 5 years ago, but again, it's not even 5 years old yet. It's only listed since 2021. But in the past year, yeah, we've seen this price really fall down. They did a reverse split probably back here in, 2022, and that fell all the way to 157. Another one from probably $50, and they did one recently, I think, too. But anyways, yes, the price has fallen a lot. We see an all-time high of 368, so that tells you there's been a lot of dilution. But I will say, you know, sometimes stocks look like this, penny stocks, before they gain traction and actually start to break out and move upwards. So I wouldn't look at this completely as a negative. In fact, if there wasn't a dip, there would never be a buying opportunity. So, well, I guess the buying opportunity could be the all-time high if it always keeps going up. But you always want to look for opportunities when consensus in the market doesn't sound good. It's like the old verbiage that, you know, Warren Buffett used to say, you know, sell when people are scared or whatever. Anyway, I don't know the freaking quote, but you get what I'm saying. So why did so many people sell off? There's been a lot of reasons. One was the debt. They have quite a bit of debt. We're going to look at the balance sheets in a moment, but one of the other reasons was this NASDAQ compliance issue. So they actually got notified by NASDAQ about not meeting compliance. Now, there's good news. There's actually a good news about it. But first off, yeah, they got the notification that they needed to have a minimum equity for investors, and they were completely over leveraged, like with 33 million in debt. But the good news is they got they got an extension till the end of December. Then in November, the month before December, obviously, I don't know why I'm telling you that, but in November, they agreed to do an exchange of 33 million debt to equity. So great news. They regained compliance by doing that, as they are still listed, and otherwise they would not have been listed after December. So yeah, they fixed it, which is great. Bad news is this has a lot of this basically added a lot of dilution to the stock. So it is unfortunate that they had to do that, because yeah, they diluted stock shares, resulting in, you know, investors to sell off, as they do whenever there is dilution news. But the good news is they were continuing on. They weren't completely delisted, which would have therefore probably bankrupted them. So they fixed that. Now, that was negative, obviously, and I believe that was a reason we saw the price really take a huge tumble. We saw the price essentially go from an all-time high of, let me look at what their all-time high was. 129 back in 2022 to now $1.76. But the sell-off happened from that news probably, in early August, early on, yeah. And then it just kept selling down. Now, what happened in December that caused this huge spike? I think it was a combination of a few things. There was CES 2025, which KITT, Nauticus Robotics attended and had some part in. I'd have to read over that to see what it is. So they had a lot of hype due to that. Also, they got some new agreements. So they announced, what is it? So yeah, right here, a huge global super major oil and gas customer. This is going to undoubtedly hugely increase their revenue earnings. Now, we haven't had the last quarter of revenue earnings from December to Q4 earnings, but I would imagine it is really good because of that exchange, that agreement that they had with that major, super major oil and gas company. Because essentially, these robots are being used in operation to keep maintenance of these oil rigs going and making profit and just doing work that ROVs, which we saw in the video, are very outdated and kind of old. So there's a huge need for this type of device with the technology that Nauticus Robotics is designing. So yeah, they had a completion of an evaluation agreement. It doesn't necessarily say that there was any value though. So if we don't see any change in Q4, potentially in 2025 we will see some type of value number for this oil and gas customer, because right now this agreement is just okay. We're agreeing to use the Aquanaut Mark II, which is huge. I mean, that alone is bullish, but the fact that we don't have numbers, it's a little, discerning a little bit. But if they finalized an agreement, excellent. We could see that hugely turn around the profit because they badly need it. And I think that's a good segue then to the balance sheets. So again, I'm not going to be like, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an analyst. I'm not telling you this is a great time to buy it. I don't know. I'm not, you have to do your own research and do your own due diligence. But I do want to talk about the numbers because it is interesting. And I think it adds to the story of Nauticus Robotics and why they're a penny stock. But we can see here the revenue has fluctuated a lot. Some years they're making a lot. Some years they're making very little, like in the last year. So it just really kind of goes back and forth a little bit here. So what that tells me is they don't really have, they haven't really proven themselves yet in this type of space to have reoccurring profit that is secured and increasing over time. They're not having like clients that are renewing very well because, I mean, the yearly income isn't really showing that. But it does tell me that they're at least making headwind and they're moving in a positive direction. If they're able to get, 11 million in 2022, that says that there is potential because that was years down the road after they launched. Now, operating income, yeah, they're heavily under. EBT excluding unusual items, heavily under. Pre-tax income, extremely under. So overall, they're at kind of a bad position. I will say their free cash flow has improved in the recent couple of years, which is good, but it's still not in a safe, good area. So their financials are not great. That's why they really need to make some type of agreement, a major client like that, if they could get some type of, agreement in terms of an actual amount contract, then we could see KITT Nauticus Robotics price really increase and implode because just I believe it was last week they announced an acceptance for testing of their Aquanaut vehicle. So that is great as well. So they're testing the Mark II, the second iteration of their Aquanaut, which is going to be probably their flagship best product right now. They also announced a strategic alliance. Whoops. Let me switch over to this with Leidos, and Leidos is a huge um, alliance that they have. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words here because I don't know. A lot of this is kind of complicated me, but it made a lot of sense when I was doing the research on it. But yeah, they have a relationship with Leidos, and Leidos is a huge robotics company in themselves. Yeah, when I was looking over it, I believe they have, yeah, it just says here they have a collaboration with them. They're working together essentially to get these robots, out on the market. And Leidos has like 20 billion in annual revenue. Like they're a huge company. Leidos annual revenue. Let's take a look because I think that they're doing quite well. I don't know what that's going to be. Let's see. $15 billion revenue. This is no small partnership. So having a partner like that, I think is only going to be positive for them. Can only be a bullish sign. And again, that was just 10 days ago. So that they announced that partnership with them. And we really didn't see anything happen to the price. I mean, January 30th is when this was announced. And if we look over, the past 10 days, when it was announced, it actually dropped. But it's basically stayed right at that $1.50, $1.60 range, really. And that was actually really big news. I mean, that is going to help this company substantially, having that collaboration. Again, a very small market cap for Nauticus Robotics. So it's one I definitely have my eye on. Again, no financial advice here, but I did want to talk about the company. Wanted to share with you guys my opinions on it. That's what we have, right down the pipeline for 2025. Huge Leidos collaboration for getting the Aquanaut Mark II out to market, and also a huge customer in a big oil and gas company. So hopefully we can see that, shine some more light on that so we can see what the numbers are, because that's going to be potentially huge also for Nauticus Robotics, which is sitting just as of today at a 10 million market cap. Essentially nothing, right? I mean, we call companies with a billion market cap little companies in the stock market world. So there's only, there's only room for growth with a company like this, but there's also room for bankruptcy. There's also room for delisting. So it's it's a tough one, but one I wanted to bring up. Very fun, nice company, and very, very fun to look at because, there's a lot of boring stocks out there. At least this one has a pretty cool submersible that we can see, and we actually see what the product is, which is nice. Let me know what you guys think of Nauticus Robotics. I think they're kind of interesting. As always, do your own due diligence out there. Happy investing. Stay safe. Take care of each other. I'll catch you guys in the next one. It's been Cameron on Broke to Brokers. Peace and butt grease. Deuces.